3, 2, 1, 0.
Welcome everybody back to another episode of Anchors Away. I am Nate Karsner, joined by my dad, Kevin Karsner. And if you watch our last episode, it is just back to us two tonight, going over some of the fun Seattle sports things that happened over the weekend. And, before we get everything going, how are you doing? I know it's the start of the week, so hopefully it's off to a good start.
Yeah, so far so good. I'm glad I didn't put any money on the Derby.
That would have
did
been
not
bad.
see Strike Rich at all. So
No.
But I did hear stories today of several people who did bet on the long shot. So
Wow.
there are quite a few happy folks around.
Good for them.
Yeah. Other than that, just kind of sitting back, watching everything, and enjoying some nice weather finally. So
yeah,
cookout.
definitely turning around a little bit, which is definitely nice to see. I know it's going to be pretty much all 80s for us in this part of the country. So definitely looking forward to some nice weather and just getting back to more spring, summer climate temperature going forward.
Yeah. And how was your weekend?
Yeah, not that bad. Not that bad. Can't complain whatsoever. So it's off to a good start, which is always a good thing.
Absolutely.
As always, we always like to do the question of the day.
Okay.
And because the Storm have officially started their season, we do have a Storm question for you. And it's going to be a two-part question. I tried to pick one that at least one part might be easier, and then the other one might be a little bit tougher. But so, who did the Storm beat for their first championship, and in what year? I will give you a hint. It was 25 years after the previous championship won in Seattle.
Oh, geez.
Yep.
I'm just trying to think here. Chicago?
Not close geographically, but like close kind of in the name. It starts with a C.
Well, then that might be Charlotte.
No, not Charlotte. One more guess. A little too far south.
Little too far south. So not Chicago. Connecticut.
There you go. Connecticut Sun. And then do you know the year?
Boy, was that like... Let's see. So that one's then. That wouldn't be right. 94?
No, so they didn't become a thing until 2000.
So 2004.
There you go. Yep, 2004. They beat the Connecticut Sun in their first best of 3 series. And then in 2000, I guess 1 and 2002, I think it said that's when they drafted Lauren Jackson and Sue Bird back-to-back number 1 overall. So definitely makes sense there. Speaking of forwards and then Sue Bird, let's stick with the Storm here as they did start their season on Friday, May 6th. Pretty much blowing out the Lynx, the Minnesota team, 97-74. At least looking over the Lynx lineup, I don't really recognize any names off the bat. Again, not the biggest WNBA watcher of games, but definitely a promising start to see 97 points. Yeah. I mean, Brianna Stewart goes off for 17, Jewel Lloyd 17, Sue Bird 11 and 9, and then Stephanie Talbot finishes that up with 11 as well. So, pretty good passing around, and then Prince at the bottom here got 13 points as well. So everyone basically contributed in that first game to pick up the W. And then last night they go play Las Vegas, and things kind of took a little bit of a turn as
just a little.
Vegas did pull off the about an 11-point win, 85-74. Brianna Stewart definitely was carried the team with Jewel Lloyd. It seems like those two, at least to start the year, are going to be kind of that duo that are getting points. 21 for Stewart and 19 for Lloyd. And then no one really helped out at that point. You didn't see the amount of scoring that you saw from some of the bench players, and even from the starting lineup, they were all. I mean, Sue Bird only had 3 points, so One,
It was a nice start a game, opening up the new home court there at Climate Pledge and everything. It was hyped, and it was definitely a way to open it up. And there might have been a little bit of a letdown. Hard to say, but from the high to the low.
Yeah. And I mean, at least Las Vegas, they do have some players. I mean, so.
Oh yeah. And they're going to be fine.
Yeah. Kelsey Plum from UW. She's over in Vegas. So.
Yes.
But like you said, I mean, it's just the start. They've got so many games coming up. And really, you only, you blow the one team out by 23, and you only lose by 11 the next night. Like it's not that.
It's not that worrisome. No, and they got the three core tenured players there.
Yeah.
They're healthy, so that's probably the biggest thing. They haven't been healthy the last 2 years, and so with a healthy threesome there, the trio, they want to let Sue go out on a high note too. So.
For sure. It'd definitely be nice to, get one more championship in her career. And then you'll be right there with Stewart and Jewel Lloyd, who only 20, 28, and 27. So
exactly.
You definitely have some more room with them as you kind of continue on and get the rookies that they drafted this year, get them up to speed. And they're definitely going to be in a good spot going forward. It at least appears after, again, 2 games.
Yeah, and hopefully the WNBA will look at their the way they got their salary cap set up and everything, because it was unfortunate that we had to cut our first round pick in Avena because we didn't have the space. So
interesting.
That is an issue. They have a hard cap. Maybe they could do a soft cap, or maybe they could start a developmental league or something like that. But yeah, pretty unfortunate that economics actually is, and she's not the only one, unfortunately, this year that lost out. They were drafted this year, but sorry, we didn't have the space for you. That's a sad situation. So hopefully they'll turn that around and give those girls a chance to play at some point. But they're going to have to look overseas at this point. So it's just an unfortunate situation.
That'd be definitely disappointing to be drafted and then all of a sudden find out you're actually not going to play. That's a really tough situation for any sport, especially with but on the flip side, there's going to be another draft here coming up for another Seattle team with the Seattle Kraken. Going to be getting that NHL lottery tomorrow, May 10th at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And, of course, the Kraken have the third best odds at 11.5% to land that number 1 pick. So definitely there's some names that I do have pulled up just to kind of potential if they at least stay at 3 or move up to 1.
Right.
Obviously, the kind of the big player in this year's draft is going to be Shane Wright out of Kingston, the center. 84 points, 28 goals, 56 assists. 6 foot, 185. Just kind of everyone assumes he's going to be the number 1 pick. But going down a little bit, at number 3 we have Matt Savoie, I believe, at 5'9", 179 center, out of Winnipeg at the Western Hockey League. He also had 84 points, 32 goals, 52 assists. And then I guess right below him is Connor Geekie, Morgan Geekie's brother. At 6'3", 193, and he's actually also on Winnipeg and the Western Hockey League. So there's at least a couple names there. If you're looking at a defenseman, there's number 5 is Pavel Mintayukov. I don't know, out of Saginaw defenseman, but his comparable is Mikhail Sergachev out of Tampa Bay. So could be a good fit there as well. Definitely wouldn't be opposed to just kind of picking up some more scoring either. So which I think they ultimately need.
They need offense.
Yeah.
So I think they just picked up a defenseman, a Finnish defenseman, on a entry-level contract. Been playing over in the Finnish leagues. And,
Petro Supla?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So that might help him out there in the defense. And from what I understand, he also has some offensive upside as well. So that might be a good
21
pickup.
assists. Yeah. 6'1" or 6'2", 192. Like definitely help out in that back line there.
Absolutely.
And hopefully you get some help for Grubauer
Yeah.
and Dreider as well, because they definitely need it. There were multiple times where just not good play by defense. They looked lost out there. So
Yeah.
and a little bit of chemistry, but it'd be nice to get some legit defenders in there as well that kind of teach and coach up.
Yes.
Get them in that Kraken system, and hopefully they're here for the long time or the long run, and they're actually good and go forward.
Exactly.
Being on the team. But so it'll definitely be interesting to see what pick they get. Again, 11.5% to land that number 1 pick. With good odds. Last year we went from 3 to 2, so maybe we can do that again this year, or move up to 1. So obviously the Kraken lost quite a few games this previous year, and it seems like the other 2 Seattle teams that are currently playing are following suit. Let's start with your background. Of course, the Sounders at least got that CONCACAF championship, but it feels like unless they're playing tournament matches or foreign teams, that they don't win. The MLS, they just have not been playing well. Just losing to Dallas 2-0 on this last Saturday. What do you think's going on with the Sounders in the MLS match play?
The MLS, it's just kind of weird. I don't know if this is going to follow suit like in years past where it's always been the slow start, even without the MLS, without the extra stuff. They've had slow starts in the past where all of a sudden they'll just kick it into high gear and then they'll be fine. And that might be a little bit of what's happening here. Again, a lot of effort went into CONCACAF.
Mm-hmm.
Let's not fool ourselves. That was a tournament that from the very top down, they wanted CONCACAF.
Yeah.
So they got CONCACAF out of the way. They got that one done. I think they pretty much mailed the Dallas game in.
Yeah.
And obviously it looked like they mailed it in anyway.
Right.
People are people. Humans are humans. Hey, but I get it. They aren't going to say they mailed it in, of course, but pretty hard to do. Let's see what happens here upcoming week here and see if they can pull it around. But yeah, it's just been kind of brutal MLS wise. So we got a shot.
Yeah. But, I guess the good thing is at least they start the US Open Cup this week on Wednesday. So we're going back to tournament play. And hopefully getting some revenge on San Jose. From a couple weeks ago that the Sharks ended up winning 4-3, or that's hockey, but San Jose Earthquakes I think won 4-3.
The Quakes.
So at least they're going back into tournament play, which seems like that's when they actually do play their best, at least so far this season.
Right.
So
hey, and I almost had that score right.
Yeah, you did.
I gave him a goal, but Stephen Fry was just better than I gave him credit for.
Played very well in that final game.
Oh God, yeah, for sure. So, but yeah, I Sounders will still turn it around at some point.
Yeah,
so.
they're kind of in that same situation as Storm on realistic. Like they have so many matches. Before, their last match of the year is going to be just MLS play, October 9th. Like they've got.
They got time.
6 months still, so or
and
5
then
months.
who knows what they do during the window, the summer window.
Yeah.
So who knows what thing they might pull there with João Paulo being down for the year. So we'll wait and see.
Yeah, it definitely could be some striker from one of those other leagues. It seems like Seattle always finds somebody that kind of nowhere that just becomes a legit star in the MLS. And they're probably good too in their respective leagues, but there's just so many leagues in soccer. It's kind of hard to keep up, honestly, with who's really good, who's not good. It's not like I feel like the MLS is the only American league that isn't like the premier league for their respective sport. Obviously got Major League Baseball. Obviously got the Japanese leagues too, but even their best players tend to come over here. And NFL, there's no league that touches that. And it's kind of the same with the NBA. You have all the Europe leagues and the Chinese leagues, but at the end of the day, whereas MLS the MLS just not this, it's really been the retirement home or kind of the development league for the Spanish leagues, the European leagues. But yeah, it will be interesting to see what they do there, especially like you said, if Paolo's out for the year. Maybe you look at who you can at least maybe get that 1 year rental or half year rental type or player on a loan
Right.
from one of these bigger teams. So yeah, that'll be interesting, but a good thing to keep the eyes on the Sounders as they do go that U.S. Open Cup here Wednesday against San Jose Earthquakes. So let's kind of turn our attention over to the other team that seems to keep losing. Finally turned it around, I guess, a little bit yesterday on May 8th, where George Kirby makes his debut, goes 6 innings, 7 Ks, got about 98 on the fastball. I saw a couple times. Definitely looked good out there. Did you like what you see from George Kirby in his first game?
Yeah, he really just picked up what we saw in spring training, really. I don't think he's missed a beat, certainly not down in AA at all. He's just continues to do what he does. So, hey, maybe he's got some voodoo up his sleeve this year. Let's let him go. Nice way to start out.
Yeah.
But we also had Matt Brash start out.
Exactly. Matt Brash started out very well, and then just kind of went down a little bit. Yep.
Yeah, so it'll be interesting to see for sure. But nice start, way to win on Mom's Day in front of Mom there at the stadium there. So certainly Kirby's got the stuff. So it'll be interesting to see if he can keep it all together here after once we get to that third, fourth start. Let's see what he's doing.
Yeah, I think that's the big thing because, like you said, I mean, Brash started out real well too, and teams didn't really have the scouting report on him. He was just coming up. That you have to at least see a couple games to see what he pitches, what he looks like, and once it seemed like teams actually figured him out, it went downhill. And that hopefully isn't the case for Kirby, but there's definitely something to be said that it could happen. It kind of happened with Logan Gilbert too when he first came up. He had a really good start, and then teams kind of figured him out, and fortunately they let him work out those issues. And now, I mean, he had a kind of a rough game the other day, but he's pitching very well overall. So hopefully with Kirby, they give him some time to get it figured out and kind of work through the struggles, and hopefully we can just get some offense for him because the guy pitched really well, and you can't score one run to at least put him in a win situation.
Unbelievable. Yeah. Not good at all.
It's just like back in those Felix days. Like obviously Felix was a much more established pitcher than Kirby, but it felt like Felix every game, especially for a stretch there, was pitching lights out. Would go 6-7 innings, 10 strikeouts a game, and he would lose the game because we couldn't score one run.
Right.
So I mean, what do you think's happening? Like, we made all these pickups: Adam Frazier, Jesse Winker, Eugenio Suarez, Julio got the call. I mean, Kelnick's like, what's going on with the offense, and why can't they score runs anymore?
Yeah, it's weird. I don't know if they got into their heads or if they're pressing now. But yeah, it might just be. I'm hoping this is their get it out of their system kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's weird. I don't know where it went. It was just like a light switch. Once it was on and now it's off. And it's like, how do you turn the light switch back on? I don't know if it's a player that needs to get slotted somewhere else, or maybe we're starting to see how much Haniger really meant to this team.
Yeah.
In the locker room, day after day, game after game. Maybe that's the issue. Who's that leader? That's JP is definitely the raw type leader.
Yeah.
But who's that kind of that established veteran that can actually sit down and go, whoa, hey, come on, this is just a game. Bring it back into focus, kind of thing. I
think that's a good point about Haniger because it seemed like it started to go downhill as soon as he did get. I think it was the COVID first and then the injury. I know at one point they were like 11-6, and when I was watching the highlights of yesterday's game, their record was like 12-16.
Right.
So the fact that they went 1-10, I guess, in 11 games is definitely a rough way to go about it. And the schedule this May, like we looked at last week, it's brutal. And then the same thing for Kirby. He's his next start will be against the Mets. So you'll really get a good idea if he's going to be a good player
Yeah.
there with that lineup, who's I think leading the NL East currently.
Yeah.
But yeah,
And what do you do? What do you do with Kelnick in New York?
Oh, I don't know.
I mean, we know what kind of fans New York is.
Yeah, they're not nice people.
They're not going to be nice to him.
No.
That's just going to be the interesting thing. It's going to be real interesting.
I mean, you got to play him though.
Oh yeah.
Like I mean,
you got to talk that kid up.
But to be fair, like to New York, it's at this point, based on
Kelnick's,
they won the trade. Diaz is
Yeah.
still a legit closer there. Like he's definitely, kind of won over that city. Obviously Cano just got cut and went after the PED thing a few years ago. He just went downhill there. But yeah, as of right now, the Mets won the trade surprisingly.
Right.
Because when it happened, it didn't really feel like they did. But if Kelnick never turns into what he was expected to be, then yeah, they obviously win the trade there.
Yeah.
But I mean, you got to play him.
And it'll be interesting. Those are going to be must-see games.
I mean, I feel like for him though too, it's like, wouldn't you want to kind of show out there, like try a little bit harder? Like I don't know if it's a trying thing or what, but
what will shut that crowd up is a nice little home run and like the late innings to win the game or something like that. That would shut that crowd up quick. So
yeah, and the Mets are in first place currently, 20-10.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
But yeah, they I mean, at least they have the Phillies tonight. Flexen will be on the mound, so you got Philly, and then at New York. This 9-game road series or 10-game at the Mets, at Toronto, at Boston. They'll definitely see what they are made of.
Oh yes,
on that 10-game stretch.
Yeah, yeah.
Wow.
Hey, if they could come out of that 500,
that'd be great.
Awesome. I don't care how they do it.
No.
Yeah.
I mean, because you go 5-5, at least you got Oakland after that for Oakland. Oakland's Oakland. Like they'll play good against us, but
right.
You feel a little more confident playing them than some of these other teams that are on the schedule.
Absolutely.
Then you just go right back against Houston again, who seem to always have Seattle's number as they swept us last week. So
right. Yeah. We kind of going back and forth. So
then a little bit of Baltimore and then Texas. And then this schedule just never like lets up.
No, it doesn't.
And I mean, it's good for baseball where it is like that, where every game actually, it's not, none of these games are like easy where you kind of have that in the NFL where it's like, oh, we're playing Jacksonville, we should win unless you're the Colts. And that's a big thing. But
yeah,
it's tough when like, we have all these hopes for this team and
it's like, oh, come on.
Doing what they do.
Yeah.
I don't know. This month will be very telling for the Mariners.
It will be.
And what their, I guess, attitude is for going forward the rest of the season, because you've had a real rough go of it lately.
Yeah. It will be interesting to see, and it will certainly be a precursor to what they may do at the trade deadline too.
Mm-hmm. You'll definitely get some good information. Like,
yes, you will. Yeah. So we'll see what happens, but yeah, it's not going to be easy. But
no.
Hey, we got the Phillies starting up, and hopefully JP can have a good series against them and keep his average up there.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be good for him as, former team, beat first round pick Philly, obviously didn't go well there. But definitely a good thing for him to get traded into Seattle, and of course good for Seattle too. I mean, they got their shortstop, but
right.
It'd be a couple revenge series, and then you got Robbie Ray against Toronto. So
yeah, that'll be fun.
So definitely a couple fun series, definitely to keep an eye out and watch for. But man, that is a tough schedule. But
it is.
Like you said, hopefully they go 500 and pick up a couple, at least series wins to finish out the month, and we're at least looking at an okay spot going into June.
Yep. Exactly.
But I mean, I guess with that said, that's kind of all I had for today.
Yeah.
Definitely wasn't like the most entertaining weekend of Seattle sports. I mean,
a
couple Storm games, couple Mariner games, but we're kind of getting into that point now where we just, especially after tomorrow with the Kraken's lottery, we're basically just getting into, regular season games, going through the grind of things until we get closer to Seahawks minicamp and then the Kraken start back up. But
Right.
Before we wrap up, is there anything that you want to add or kind of finish the show off with today?
Oh yeah, and a shout out to Oil Rain for being a nice host for Racing Louisville, letting us split a point and getting a draw out of that. And we'll see. We'll probably have to go to that Louisville Racing match against the Rain when they come out this way in August. So
okay,
we'll see what happens on that. But yeah, nice game there, 2-2. Boy, the teams kind of look a little bit alike. They both have the same record right now. Of course, the season just started, 2 games out, but really should be an interesting year for OL Reign. So nice job, way to get the season started, and looking forward to it.
Cool. Well, with that said, thank you everybody for watching or listening, however you prefer to consume this podcast / show. Of course, we are on YouTube. And then, Apple, Spotify, and Anchor.fm for the audio version. So go ahead, subscribe to the podcast, helps us out. And, of course, leave any comments if there's anything you want to see or don't want to see. So thank you, everybody, for watching. And we will see you all in the next episode of Anchors Away.